Okay, let's see. So, we can head down there. Let's see, just verify. Yeah, we still have our ammo effect on one of our weapons. Oh, we might not have put it on both of our weapons here. No, we do. Ashley just may only have it on her sniper. Is it on her Avenger? See it on the sniper. It's on both for her. Yeah, Liara we of course got after James left, so she does not have incendiary on any of her weapons, so let's just... I think we want to be probably on Predator. Well, debatable. At the moment we'll have Predator Avenger. That'll be our combo. What is this?
What the hell?
Looks like the Alliance is still putting up a fight.
That tram heads to the archives. Once Cerberus is across, they're at the final security checkpoint.
And that's where we're headed.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good. Okay, let's see. Anything over here for us? No, it looks like this is the way onward, in that case. That James?
Barely. Storm's causing interference. I didn't read that. James. Repeat.
What's our position?
Damn it.
That storm's going to be in here very soon.
Yeah, I think it's already here.
Good point.
Okay, we get a little more of equipment there. Let's carry on. Let's see. No signs of enemies at the moment. But we might need to jump this. Come on, guys.
The airlock shouldn't be open. Doesn't look like it was forced. No, you have to override security protocols.
Okay. So, somebody broke in, is what you're saying? Ooh. And it's dark.
Someone vented the air from this room while they were still here. Looks like they died trying to claw their way out. This is brutal, even by Cerberus standards.
Looks like that's kind of around the corner here. Can't really see it much from this angle, but down there. And lots of dead people, I'm afraid. There are lots of dead people. What is this? A data pad? From Shoden to Cameron Harrison. I think we've seen that name before, Cameron Harrison. Cam! Who the hell is that woman messing with my files? Get her out of here! I won't have my system messed up by some wannabe expert who'll be gone next week. The strangers who think they know it all, but don't care about what we're really trying to achieve here. Dr. Eva? Seriously? Don't you remember what happened last time? S. Huh. So this Dr. Eva, which is the person that Liara had said she had seen here before. Apparently, it sounds like she's done something in the past that has caused some disagreements among this presumably being the Cerberus group here. Get some experience from that as well. See if there's anything over here. No? Okay. Take a little look around. It's like a cafeteria. Hey, anybody want a soda? Maybe not. Maybe not. Oh, we got enemies. Okay. They're hanging out over here. And it's dark, so I technically don't think they can currently see us. But that is, well, maybe only a temporary state of affairs. So, I mean, if we try to get some friends... The thing about fighting enemies such as these, and that might be something over there that we might want to pick up, but thing about fighting these guys, as we've seen in the past, they are quite aggressive with throwing their grenades, and as I was saying before, our squad mates don't always make a point of getting out of the way of those grenades. So having everyone located in the same bit of cover right next to each other can be a bit of a recipe for disaster. If our enemies throw grenades, everyone has to run out of the cover, and then everyone just gets eviscerated either by the grenades or by the weapon fire that they follow up with. So ideally what we'd do is we would find like a place that, like, can we get behind there-ish? Like, I kind of want you to be hanging out right in front of that cover there, but, you know, if you have to go... hold on. If you have to go there, then so be it. So some glass can be broken. And we can also do this for another grab. It is risky, because it does put us right in front of these guys, so it is certainly not always the best approach, but we can grab twice, so we will. That is a grenade I would like to not be standing next to. But they can break the glass as well. And we are currently not at full barriers, which is unfortunate. So it's definitely the riskier approach, but also grabs are just a lot of fun. So, you know, we might live to regret this if we get overwhelmed here right now, but we have some crowd control from Liara, so that can certainly help. And that biotic explosion was big enough to hit, I think, not only the guy in that singularity, but one of his friends as well. It looks like there is still an enemy here somewhere, but I can't tell if they're in this room or if they're just on the other side of that door. Or it might be... I think it was the guy that got launched from the biotic explosion, and he may technically just be stuck somewhere, because I can still hear him. That may actually be problematic if that prevents us from progressing, because the game's like, excuse me, Lids, you haven't destroyed everyone in this area. Meanwhile, we'll pick up an Smg Scope, which is actually interesting because that might be our first weapon mod that we found. As I was saying when we were looking at the weapon selection screen previously, eventually we will get a bunch of mods we can put on all of our various weapons, but that is our first one there, I believe, specifically for SMGs. Yeah, I think this guy is, like, just infinitely falling somewhere, or just stuck in a corner somewhere. We have environmental controls that, I mean, maybe those can do something so that we can actually get rid of this guy. My concern is that he's stuck somewhere off screen where we just can't hit him. Usually what happens is if explosions or just throwing people with biotics sends them off the bounds of the arena, then they will just automatically die. But I think this guy got, like, thrown into some corner somewhere where he's stuck, but is not technically dead because he is technically still within the bounds of the arena, so that could be a problem. We'll see.
The room first. There we go. We have access to the labs. They'll take us right to the tram station. Hey, looks like there's a recording of what happened here.
Oh?
Security station. Come in. We're seeing some odd activity down here. Our security protocols just kicked in. Everything's locked down.
It's definitely the same guy who did the voice for Jenkins in Mass Effect 1.
I'll get you a report as soon as...
Oh! Well, that can't be normal.
I guess we know how Cerberus got in.
I should have realized it when I met her. I was just so focused on finding a way to stop the Reapers.
So it sounds like that was Dr. Eva Corey. But, you know, don't blame yourself. I mean, there's no way you could have known that at the time, right?
Stopping the Reapers is the only thing we should be focused on. It's not your fault.
But what if we're wrong? What if there's no way to stop them? What if these are our last days and we spend them scurrying around trying to solve a problem we can't fix?
Come on, Liara.
I know.
And we won't go down without a fight.
Think that way. I don't know how you do it. You've always stayed focused even in the worst situations.
There's a lot to fight for.
When there's so much at stake, I just think about what I'd lose if I fail.
That's a terrible burden.
We'll stop them, Liara. Together.
Thanks, I want to believe you. Okay, doors open. We can get to the labs and tram station through there.
Good. Let's move.
Okay, now the question is, what is the state of that guy who technically was not dead before? Apparently he's gone now. Maybe if you get here, then technically all the enemies disappear. Oh, this is also would be a source of extra grenades. So, I mean, we've not thrown a single grenade yet, but I also just don't have a great sense. I don't remember, because it's been like 7 years since I last played the campaign for Mass Effect 3. How often does one get grenades restocked? And so, I mean, often enough that we can at least use them occasionally. And here you can see some of the images. So there's Dr. Corey. And that's like, that looks kind of like the uniform that Miranda was wearing in Mass Effect 2, so definitely looks like Cerberus garb. Alright, let's carry on. Anything else over here? Like, is this... I don't think that was the guy, because that crumpled little body over there was there for pretty much the whole time. Oh! I hear enemies, though. Let's save. Oh, we hear him from his radio there? We have a workbench. Actually, this is potentially extremely important. So, this is a place where we can choose the weapon loadout for our squad mates here. For us, it's a way, if we wanted to focus on just using the Predator or just using the Shuriken to maximize our power recharge time, it is something we could do. It is also a time when we could actually modify the Shuriken and check out this screen here. So we see all the stats for the Shuriken, and then we can rotate through our mods, which at the moment we have precisely one of them. It is the SMG Scope 1, so starts out at level 1, and we might have opportunities later on to upgrade it to increase the effectiveness, but right now, it increases the accuracy of the weapon by 15% and gives a ×2 optical zoom, which I think is actually a thing if you zoom in with the weapon, but I so rarely, in at least Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, do I use the scopes that I don't recall. So at the very least, we can improve our weapon that way, which apparently we got an achievement for. So that's cool, I suppose. But as I was saying, our power recharge time was a little bit slower than what we had in the tutorial, because we had 200% then, and we're at 175 now, so you could make the case that it's worth it to actually drop that. I mean, it's a pretty small difference, though. 25% when our recharge speed is as fast as it is still almost instantaneous, so we might just stick with this. Whereas for Ashley, Liara, I don't think there's any reason to change things up here, except for Liara, we could also put the mod on for her on the Shuriken, so let's do that. A little more accuracy. And this, I suppose, like minor-ish kind of sort of spoiler territory, but this is only really relevant for people who are playing Mass Effect 3 on New Game Plus. If you happen to have access to other weapons, then because you're playing on New Game Plus, obviously at the moment we only have the starter weapons because we're just starting, but be careful specifically what pistol you have, because depending on what pistol you have at this point in time, it's possible to soft lock yourself at a later part of this mission. I'll leave it at that to avoid spoilers, but let's just say even if we had options for other pistols, we might need to stick with the Predator here for that reason. So just be careful of that if you are playing on New Game Plus and you forgot about a different pistol you chose to pick up. Oh, and speaking of other upgrades, and speaking of not being at 200% recharge speed, well, hold on, because we do have another SMG upgrade now, and that SMG upgrade is, if we take a look here, so now we have the SMG Scope, yes, we can't double up on that, but we can do a total of 2 upgrades on any given weapon. There are some upgrades that sort of occupy the same upgrade slot, and so you can't stack those together, but we can do the combination of the SMG Scope and SMG Ultralight Materials, which reduces the weapon weight by 50%, which, that is a ton. It's just that SMGs generally are a really light weapon, so, you know, it percentage-wise sounds like a ton, although in terms of the raw weight of the weapon, it's not a huge difference. It is, however, enough of a difference to go from 175% cooldowns to 200% cooldowns, so it is, for that reason, worth throwing on the weapon, because there's no downside to it at this point. That doesn't look good. And here is the 2x zoom, so yes, it is definitely a thing. I'm really not the biggest fan of it, because it does really limit your peripheral vision quite a bit. Generally, I think I prefer the Predator. Shuriken is just a backup plan in case for some reason Predator is no-go. So, Predator, I think, technically is extra damage against armor, whereas Shuriken is better against shields and barriers. We have another datapad here. Amelia Hatterson, Tamiko Sullivan. I don't think we've seen either of these names before. Hey, stupid head. Great way to start a conversation. I won't ask how you're doing, since I hear you guys are propagating germs in the shape of a cold down there in storage. Look, I know your Prothean doodads are fascinating and all, but you guys have got to stop burning the midnight oil and keep regular sleeping hours. Honestly. Anyway, I forwarded your latest findings to HQ on Earth, and someone is depressurizing the area. Warn security. Okay. Got some experience out of that, and it sounds like she was, or whoever that was one of the people who were working at the station, and then they got attacked by either Dr. Corey, as we saw in the log we were just looking, or the video recording we were just looking at, or someone else working with Dr. Corey. See, we also have gotten like a surprising amount of experience just from doing all the picking stuff up, and we're kind of close to getting another level here. Let's save before we go through here, because I have a feeling stuff is about to go down. Because stuff is about to go down. We got ourselves a bunch of troopers here, and they are already starting to shoot at us. I think this, maybe not immediately, but it could certainly become a situation in which we might want to start chucking out some grenades. We actually have more grenades than I thought. We have 4 apiece? I thought we only had 2 apiece? Okay, I mean, I'll take it. But, sure. Alright, so let's open up with the Singularity, I think. Let's also try to fall back a little bit, but we'll blow you up. Let's try to maybe pull you out. You're definitely going to chuck a grenade at us. Oh. Didn't really see where the grenade ended up, which is a little concerning. Ow, I think the grenade did hit us a little bit. It got rid of our shields. So I'd like to wait a second here. Actually, is kinda... Okay, for a second I was a little concerned that she was trying to one-woman army it. But that didn't really work as intended. Liara, if you could Singularity here, that'd be great. Yeah, we got an Assault Trooper over there. It looks like, I mean, got knocked down somehow. I would have said probably from a concussive shot, but apparently not, because it's not on cooldown right now. So let's Singularity in that case. And as we see here, one of those is Liara's Singularity, another one is our Singularity. Okay, this is the first time we've encountered this enemy, a Guardian. They are significant. They are definitely more powerful than the basic Assault Troopers we've seen thus far, and the reason for that is going to be hard to tell from here. But, we can try throwing powers at it from here, but it may not be all that effective. Let's, in fact, use a pull. Because, yeah, as you just heard that sort of metallic clangy sound, that is the sound of one of our either weapons or abilities hitting a Guardian shield. Basically, they run around with big shields, and they can actually block many, many different abilities with those shields. And that is specifically why I took the pull power, is because by using pull, you can remove the shields from their grip and then set them up to get hit by everything else. So that is why I took that. I'm not sure if that guy was primed, the one that we were actually hitting with that warp. I don't think so. I mean, there are a bunch of Singularities out there, but I'm not actually sure they're hitting anything. That's a Guardian. I think I can kind of see this one's shield. Let's pull that. And he is now in the air. We detonate him with a warp. He's down. That might have been the first Guardian we've actually finished off. Yeah, this is another one here that might be the one that we got rid of his shield already. So let's try warping. And the warp, as you see right there, can curve around, cover a bit. And so it did hit him. Yep, and he's glowing as if he's been hit by a warp. So let's throw. That should take him out. because that is warp can both detonate and prime. So in that case, the warp functioned as a prime, and I used throw to detonate instead. Singularity. So we have a bunch of ways to do similar stuffs. This guy might die before we get an explosion to go off, but alas, I still see at least a few red dots here. Yup. We are not done yet. Let's have Liara Singularity. Oh, is their Singularity still active? It might have been. This guy might be a little bit tough to hit. Alright, sneaking a throw in there, maybe? A throw... Did we upgrade it as... I don't think we upgraded it as highly as Warp, so it might actually not be enough damage with just Singularity plus throw to take somebody out with just one combo. It might have also been Liara Singularity, which, because it's a lower level than our Singularity, is not as strong with the explosion. So, for all those reasons, not sure if that guy actually went down. So let's get back to the basics here. Singularity plus Warp, all from us. There's still more guys over here. And this is, in case you can't tell, definitely the most difficult encounter we've had on this mission thus far. And that is in large part why I've been staying back here and trying to take these guys out from a distance. There are still more of them, because as you can see, it's a lot more than just one wave. Still see at least some remaining here. There might be, yeah, they might just be kind of hiding in a corner somewhere, which is a little bit concerning, because we had a good setup going there. We do have this datapad here. I believe the game pauses when we're looking at these. I'm pretty sure it does. From Viza Haikal Takale to Sandoval Fletcher. Don't think we've seen either of these names before. Yeah, I know. 2 external specialists in the same week is a bit insane. But Hudson, I've heard about the Asari before. The Asari? I don't think we've heard about Asari. She's really well known. Oh, unless you're referring to Liara. She's really well known, and she's done some amazing research on the Protheans. I don't know zip about that Dr. Eva chick, but Liara Tassoni? She's the real thing. I'm attaching some of her advanced papers on Prothean culture. Read them. You'll be a believer too when you're done. I can't wait until they introduce her to people. This is so exciting. Oh, it's just an innocent researcher who wants to meet Liara because Liara is, well, when she's not helping us blow up Cerberus guys with biotic combos, she is a Prothean researcher of some renown. Anything else over here while we're at it that we might want to nab before we pursue these guys that are... There we go. Oh, and this is another new type of enemy, okay. So we've seen the basic assault troopers. Those are the sort of entry-level enemies of Cerberus. Their biggest threat being that they can use their grenades very effectively. We saw the Guardians, which have the shields that can block many of our abilities. Now we have the Centurions, which you can kind of think of as sort of like a champion trooper, in that it basically does everything that a trooper does, except stronger. So I believe they can also throw grenades, they can also certainly shoot us. They don't have a shield, but they don't have a shield item, if you will, like a Guardian does, but they do have shields, the defensive layer, and that is why it is important for us to have other ways to prime enemies that have shields on them, because as you can see here, lots of our abilities for biotics are not effective when our opponents have shields on them. That is the Adept's greatest weakness, or biotic user's greatest weakness in general, is enemies with shields, and that is in large part the reason why we took stasis, because it does work against shields. So that gives us time to either shoot this guy or, actually that is a grenade right on top of you, that I think you should probably step away from, like, right now.
Okay.
Or just let it blow up on you. The other thing that the Centurions do is they also put up these smoke clouds, which can make it hard to target enemies at times. I think he does still have some shields. So once the shields wear off, as they just did, now we will get sucked into the Singularity, but it won't happen until the shields are down. We might want to pull back again here. Let's have Liara. Oh, now you're in that Singularity, so that was not necessary. Oh, you are very close. Let's concussive shot you, because I do not like that. We could also throw you. That's kind of what throw is here for, is in case somebody does get too close for comfort. Is that Liara? Who just decided to go straight in there? Yeah, let's not do that. Let's specifically order the two of you to stay back. Especially for Liara, who is, as we were saying before, quite vulnerable. That is definitely a Centurion over there, except he's hanging out in the smoke where we can't currently target him. Which is unfortunate. Okay, we at least have enough line of sight on that guy. This guy is, at the moment, was still primed. Okay, that's a Guardian. So there we can see much more clearly. So that is a shield. That whole thing you're seeing right there is a shield that has this little opening where his eyes are. That's where you see the slightly sort of like black part right there in the middle of our reticle. Technically, there are some abilities that can either shoot straight through the shield, or if you're really accurate with your weapon, you can shoot in that little peephole that he's looking through right now. But generally speaking, the Guardians, they're tough to deal with because the shield can block a lot of stuff. But as I was saying, Pull, the reason why we have it is specifically to get rid of it, and now you can see him even more clearly as he gets closer, but this is what you're here for. Because there goes the shield, and now he's basically just like a normal enemy. So now, much, much easier to deal with. Including by giving you the singularity treatment. Did that take you out? Somebody threw a grenade. I heard it, but I don't see the indicator for it, so I don't think it's close to us, but that is a bit of a risk. That is a bit of a risk. Well, that's another Guardian over there. Yeah, we are not done by any means yet. Let's, oh, not throw. Let's pull. Shield off this Guardian as well. Same idea. Yeah, and you can just barely see that he did in fact drop it. So that is key. Let's just move our singularity up a little bit here so we can actually prime this Guardian and then make him go boom. Okay, then we've got somebody who's kind of close to us, I think on the other side of this wall right here. And then we have this guy who's further back, and you're almost dead. What if we just concussive shot you? It's not quite enough to finish you off, though, unfortunately. Just a few shots should do it, though. From really anything, or walking into the singularity will also probably do it. Alright, well, I mean, if you're gonna just hang out there, now you're dead. Yeah, so there's somebody hanging out in this corner here. It's an assault trooper. What we can do is we can try to curve a singularity around here a bit. Pull you out and incapacitate you, and then blow you up like that, or Ashley will finish you off. And that's, I believe, was the last enemy. That is why the music has stopped here, and not seeing any red dots on our mini-map in that bottom right corner. So let's take a second to scout around a little bit. We saw one of those data pads, which gave us some experience. Anything else here we should take note of? Was there something that either it was directing us to right here, or it might technically be on the other side of that wall? I think we kind of go around. Let's not read into it too much then, I suppose. So let's see. Got a whole bunch of lockers here. Is there anything in these lockers? Because it doesn't really look like it right now, but that seems kind of odd. If that were actually the case. Surely. Right? No? No? The sink? Not hiding any weapon upgrades in your sink? Who doesn't hide weapon upgrades in their sink, I ask you? Who doesn't hide weapon upgrades in their trash can? Well, there's more grenades, which again, we don't actually need. Is there going to be... Let's save after having finished that encounter. I don't think we're going to run into anyone else in the immediate future here. But just in case. That does... So, the thing is, we deliberately were hanging out back near where we initially started that encounter, but you can try to push in to these trams here to fight them basically where they were coming from. In large part, the reason why there were so many of them is because they were probably originally spread out in all these various rooms, and they just all eventually ended up filing in toward us. But if you feel so inclined, you can bring the fight to them instead. Again, another source of ammo here that we don't really need, but not much in the way of other loots that I'm seeing. Which is a little alarming. I feel like we might have missed something, because big enough area, I would have assumed we'd run into something at this point.
They just activated the decontamination protocols, with the staff still inside.
Oh. So that doesn't sound good. That sounds like something that is, you know, like probably gonna cause terrible, irreversible damage to the people inside. But, okay. Let's see. So, looks like we can't get through that door. It's locked. But we have the option to deactivate the sterilizer. So, I guess we do that? Oh, do we need to... I think what we're... Oh. I'm going to say what we're looking to do is to deactivate it when this thing is basically as far to the side as possible to give us as much room in here as possible. But that might have been sufficient.
This is where they studied the various relics unearthed here.
What did they find?
More than I could describe in a short conversation. And they'd only scratched the surface. There are vaults filled with Prothean data troves that have never been studied.
Ooh. Okay, well, let's nab our upgrades here. Shotgun high caliber barrel, which, that one I definitely remember. That one is just pure extra damage for shotguns, which is pretty sweet. That is definitely one we will strongly consider using for our shotgun-capable characters, or if we choose to use a shotgun ourselves. Decent chunk of experience there, and then the datapad here. Personal notes from S. Esparza. We haven't been able to decipher much, if any, of the language yet, but the visual documentation gives us some idea as to what they were studying, namely, us. Oh, that's a little unnerving. They seemed particularly interested in early humanity's evolutionary process, judging by the way they organized their files and highlighted specific occasions. It seems a bit fantastic to write this, but everything indicates that they seem to be trying to chart the curve of humanity's intellectual progression. That's some more experience as well, and they, in that case, is referring to the Protheans, because remember, this is a Prothean a station created by humans to research Prothean artifacts on Mars, and that is, again, the place where humanity found all the advanced Prothean technology that eventually allowed them to advance to the galactic stage using faster-than-light travel and Mass Effect stuffs. Okay, let's move them back in here, because what I'm seeing is I think we were capable of looting that stuff in here because we froze the barriers when they were far enough away to do that, but I think we gotta get through that door there, and that means these things are gonna have to move a little bit more. Can we make that happen? Like that? That's sufficient? Oh. Well, now we can get the sniper rifle extended barrel. So that's also a very nice sniper rifle upgrade there. Okay, maybe we do need to be a little more deliberate with this. Not sure if there's anything else on this side. I didn't really catch it. I assume we just, yeah, basically functions as if it's a wall. It's not like we instantly die if we touch it. I was kind of concerned that was going to happen. But, yeah, I do wonder, because we haven't really cleared out this side in full. And we saw previously, in this case, that some stuff only showed up once we actually moved the wall enough to do that stuff. But I think that might be all we need here. I think we're good to proceed.
That's the tram line. Takes us right to the archives. No doubt Cerberus has it locked down. Hopefully we can override it at the security station. It's just through here.
And not gonna lie, the the sound effect from leveling up is quite dramatic. Quite dramatic. It did catch me a little bit there. So I was gonna say we have done a lot of little chunky experience things, picking up those data pads, the med kits and what have you. So yes, we have leveled up again here, so that's certainly good. That means we've 4 points with Shepard, and so you have now seen the reason for my having taken at least level 1 of pull, and so that's why I was thinking level 1 is good, so we can at least deal with the Guardians more safely and efficiently, but, you know, is having additional 0.1% or 0.1 second recharge speed really going to make a difference? No, probably not. Probably not. So that's why I was reluctant to take rank 2 of that, although rank 3 you start to get the duration. I mean, it would take 5 points to get up there, but that's maybe something. We were also talking about trying to save up until we could get to an improved max level throw, which is very tempting at this point, I think we might go for that, because we cannot currently afford rank 5 of Cluster Grenade, which is what we were doing with our most recent upgrades. So it's either rank 2 of Pull, which, as I was saying, at least short term, is pretty much useless. Another point of Shockwave, which, for wall hacking, you know, remember this can go through walls. For a little bit of damage, it's a nice little novelty, but at least at the moment is mostly a novelty. I mean, I suppose we could also go with Biotic Mastery for so now you see here, the weight capacity bonus. That is basically meaning that you can carry heavier weapons more easily, so your power recharge time won't take as steep of a penalty as you equip heavier weapons. And so, right now it doesn't matter because we're at 200%, it can't go any higher than that, that's the cap, unless we were to, you know, take off ultralight materials on our SMG, or if we wanted to put on a heavier weapon like a shotgun. Actually, have we unlocked a shotgun yet? I don't think we have. But an assault rifle or a sniper rifle, those are heavier than the SMGs or the pistols, so those would heavier and therefore reduce our recharge time. And if we were to go with the increased weight capacity bonus here, then we wouldn't take as steep of a penalty, and we might still be able to maintain our 200% recharge time. But at the moment, it doesn't really matter. I mean, a little bit of power damage and reputation bonus is something, yes, but fitness would probably be a higher priority for the survivability if we wanted to go that route, but I think we just save up. I think we just save up for the throw. I think that's what we do. So, let's see. This looks remarkably like a dead end. So I don't think there's anything there. Trying to get somewhere over there, I think. What is that? Bunch of wires on the ground? And we got a door through there. Oh, well, speaking of shotguns and the lack thereof, speak of that lack thereof no more, because here we have them. As I was saying, make sure that you have no out-of-the-ordinary pistols at this stage in this mission. This is, I believe, your last chance to make a change, if you opt to change loadout here. Let's do it, because, I mean, we do now have the starting shotgun, the katana, if that was of interest to us. You know, if we say we're to drop the shuriken and instead go with the katana, then it is considerably heavier. You know, rather than the 200% we had with the shuriken, we're at 75, so that is, again, why increasing your weight capacity could be relevant if you're going with a more weapon-heavy build, but we have not fired our weapon once, so I don't think that's necessary for us right now. But I thought we also picked up some other weapon upgrades. I think they were mostly for snipers, and they were for shotguns, though, so that might be more of a thing for Ashley here. Let's... oh, do we not have one for the... I thought we had one for the Mantis. Did we not? I thought we picked up the extended barrel for that. Odd. Okay. And Liara, oh, I mean, sure you can put on ultralight if you really... Can we not put on... No, we can definitely put on mods on our squad mate stuff, but maybe for some reason here and right now, since we're not actually at a weapon bench, we are only allowed to switch weapons, not actually adjust our mods on those weapons. Not entirely sure what the deal was there. Or maybe I'm just being a silly Billy. That's also certainly possible. Certainly possible. Okay. What do we have here? Because it doesn't look good.
No kidding.
Is that the only way in? It's the only way I know of.
We'll skirt around it. Stay out of its sights.
I'll move up first.
Careful, Ashley.
Don't let it target you.
Okay, so what we have here is basically a cover tutorial, if you will, where this turret, as you can probably guess, is going to absolutely rip us to shreds if we try to do anything clever and rush into this room we're trying to get to. So instead what we got to do is make a dash into cover.
Damn it!
And our squad mates, they'll just kind of do the same.
Damn it!
Ooh, that was not the best. But, you know, like, I'm
Get me out of here!
trying to, do the rolls, Shepard. No, bad Shepard. Stay in cover, please. Did our teammates both go down to the turret? Because I think they did. You know, I kind of thought they were going to be smart enough to just do their own thing. Oh no, I think we just don't have control of them here. Shepard, please stay. Actually be in cover. Actually be in cover, please, Shepard.
Stay in cover, Shepard.
Yep. Let's not look back at our teammates here. Let's just focus on the task at hand. For whatever reason, we aren't allowed to control them because this is, as I said, basically just a separate little component here. Technically, which...
Damn it.
Oh, okay. Well, let's not poke out with that. I was just wondering which piece of cover you technically wanted us to go to. I think the answer is that right there.
Stay in cover, Shepard.
Okay, I will. As you can see, there are enemies over here. They currently cannot actually fire at us. They were just hanging out in that other room. Ow.
Keep your head down.
Yep. I'm, you know, for the most part, trying to do that. Ooh, kind of have an angle on us.
Damn it.
Wait to get our barriers back just in case. Just basically take it slow and steady here. The only way you can really die is if you rush it and do something silly, as we have nearly done on a few occasions. So don't do that. Slow and steady. Let's get the barriers back. It does recharge very slowly. Even once the recharge starts, just look at how long it takes for us to get back to maximum.
Keep moving.
Hold on, Liara. Be patient. Stick to the trash cans for safety. Oh, I did not initially intend to do that. More grenades. I think Liara said that it will no longer fire on us now that we are close enough to this room? I believe that is true, because it is no longer tracking us, it seems. It no longer has like a red light on us. So I don't think there's anything in here for us to loot, but there is definitely a group of enemies in this room. Actually, a large group of enemies in this room. I'm not sure if we can shoot through this glass. I don't want to see if we can. If not, can they open this door by themselves? Or do we need to open the door for them? Because they are just hanging out. Hey guys. Yeah, they're hanging out all right. Hoping that got more than one with the explosion, but I'm not certain. I think you were primed for something, but I don't think you were by the time the throw hit, and so that didn't do an explosion. So let us fix that problem. And there's at least 2 left. Liara has done something to make this assault trooper be currently in the ceiling. Presumably it is primed. So we do, one thing you can switch around is squad powers. You can have it so that they automatically activate. Can we just... Yeah, we can go down here. Now, once you have made it far enough that the turret automatically deactivates, you can run down here if you really want to. Obviously, don't do this when the turret is still active, otherwise you will immediately get absolutely decimated. Is there anything up here? I don't think so. So that's what a Centurion looks like up close. We've not really had the chance to see one up close because, thankfully, we've kept them at a distance thus far. But let's actually head in. More ammo here. Oh yeah, but so squad mates, either you can set them to never automatically use their powers, so they'll stand around and only shoot people unless you direct them from this screen to use one of their abilities. That gives you the most direct control. That way, you know, you don't have, for example, they are on cooldown when you really want her to use an ability. You know, maybe she used stasis of her own accord, and so she has this really long, 13-second cooldown. You're like, Liara, I really wanted you to warp right now. And so that can, at times, put you in a tough position. But there is also an option. There's one option that makes it so that your squad mates will just use whatever ability seems most fitting at the time. Sniper rifle upgrade there. Concentration module. And then the other one is make it so that only you can direct them to use powers. That way they aren't on cooldown when you desperately need them to do something. At the moment, I think the default is for them to be able to use abilities of their own free will, so that is where things currently stand, but we might choose to switch that around later. Let's see, so research notes for J. Tasman. The last location seems to have run dry, but judging from the communication system layout on the backup power supplies equipped by the first Prothean research base we discovered, we think a secondary base may be located deeper underground. We're going to need permission from the powers that be to excavate further. But considering the recent renewal of enthusiasm for the work we're doing here, I don't think clearance will be an issue. Okay, a little bit more experience there. And actually, did we forget to... I'm pretty sure, yeah, we forgot to upgrade our teammates last time. We were focusing so much on Shepard and how we wanted to probably save our abilities there. We could try to spend a point on Marksman and see if it makes Ashley completely unusable. It's certainly a risk, but it would be kind of nice to get a definitive answer on that, because if we can actually use Marksman on Ashley, then it becomes one of her strongest abilities. If we can't, and the bug is still active, then that means that she becomes completely unusable whenever we try to activate that Marksman ability, and that is a reason why you might specifically want to turn off squad mates automatically using abilities so that you can prevent Ashley from using Marksman. But, nice to know soon so that we can proceed accordingly and invest in Marksman if it does work, or completely avoid it if it doesn't. So that might be worth giving a shot. Oh, stasis, we can upgrade a third time here. Let's just see. This would increase duration. It's currently 6 seconds. I'd go to 7.8. Maybe? Can't afford any of these other ones we've been working on thus far, right? Yeah, the warp ammo, although it is really good, it is not something that I want to be focusing on immediately, just because we are currently still benefiting from the incendiary ammo from James, so it's kind of redundant is maybe not the perfect way to describe it, but you get what I mean. We would get more immediate benefit out of something else in all likelihood, but we might actually just want to save these, and then once this mission is over, and we might be looking for a different ammo power, then maybe we do throw a bunch of points into warp ammo instead. So perhaps we stick with that. For Ashley, let's do it. Let's put 1 point in Marksman. We're going to test it. We're going to see. So, where is Ashley? So, I don't remember if it is specifically when she uses it by herself, or if it's any better when you direct her to use Marksman. But let's see what happens if we do this. Okay, I think that worked. You can see she basically lit up a little bit. Got all glowy. So I think what happens with the previous bug, from what I understand, is that she would try to activate Marksman, and then she'd get stuck in that animation, would never actually complete it, and so she would just repeat the first part of the animation and never finish the animation, so she would never stop, and she would just get stuck and not be able to move, not be able to shoot, except maybe in some instances in which, maybe some cutscenes automatically move your squad mates and you can get her unstuck that way, but if she's randomly using Marksman whenever she wants to, then she might get stuck later. So, at least when we're directing her to use Marksman, it seems fine. So, that much seems okay. The question still remains, though, if she activates it herself, does it cause her to freeze up? Because if it does, then I suppose we could switch around our options and make it so that we are only having squad mates use powers when we tell them to, and then it should be fine, I suppose. Kind of, sort of, maybe, hopefully, theoretically.